now definitely want to jump into Bitterroot and
Yes.
transfer this.
Yes.
So obviously you're a co-creator along with writers David Walker and Chuck Brown, which David Walker, he wrote for our Power Man and Iron Fist,
right,
as well, right? Yeah. Is that where your guys' relationship started, or have you guys worked on a lot of?
And I've known David for, I don't know, well over 15 years, I would think.
Okay.
We, truth be told, we've talked to each other in passing, prior to, hey man, love to work with you. I'm pretty sure, Sinbad, you can identify with that whole, hey man,
Let's
work with you.
do something.
Right. Exactly.
Let's do something. And it was that kind of conversation. We met at Comic-Con, a few times, and I honestly didn't know who he really was. I knew that he was a comic book person, but he would walk around. I don't know if you guys ever seen him, David. He wears dashikis and wears he's
deep with it.
He's in it. He's in it for the long haul. And I just, thought, wow, this guy, he has such a presence about him. But what does he do? I just wasn't really involved. But then I'm talking to other people, and they're like, oh no, he's a filmmaker. Oh no, he's a he does he's a journalist. Oh no, he's all over the place. He's a multi-faceted, talented guy. And long story short, we connected, I guess about a year before Power Man Iron Fist really started to happen. And he said, yeah, man, I'm doing something here based on the books of Shaft. Not based on the movie, but actual novels. And I think you'll be great it'd be great to work with you. Again, we've said that in passing, but it was just another conversation to me. And then I got an email from an editor that said he recommended me to be a part of the project. And this is right around the time I was, really getting going at Marvel. So the best I could do was doing the covers. So me and him would talk a lot. He would say, oh man, I got this really cool idea for this cover. And the ideas that he presented to me were like, wow, that's a really cool idea that you're, so now I'm reading his material. I got interested in reading the material. Sometimes I would just do covers for whatever and never read the material, but this time I started reading it and I'm like, wow, this guy got some great ideas. So long story short, how we got at Marvel working on Power Man and Iron Fist, we, again, would talk a lot, and he brought up something to me in a conversation. He said, yeah, man, I got this really big thing, can't really say what it is just yet, but I think you'll be great for it. I'm going to put your name in a hat. And when he said that to me, I was like, well, it all depends, man, because I got this really big thing coming up, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it. But
everybody got a big thing. Everybody got a big thing.
Everybody got a big thing. And come to find out, that big thing we were talking about was the same thing. They had already reached out to him and me separately.
Wow.
And so there you go, man. So we knew that, okay, man, it's all serendipitous or whatever you want to call it. And that's how we started working together.
That's so awesome. That's great. And yeah, David Walker, he's an amazing writer. I'm actually he has a Kickstarter product for another comic book he's doing for blaxploitation spaghetti western mix. I definitely back that, so I'm excited for that project as well. And then Chuck Brown, he's also a great indie comic writer, also works for Marvel, things like that. And I saw something because a couple of years ago I discovered Webtoon. I discovered you guys had a Webtoon project. And I'm like, y'all are all over the place.
Hey, tell them Sinbad, man, you gotta keep the lights on, bro. I mean,
gotta gather the nuts up as a squirrel.
Go up for that long winter, man. But no, that's a project that was in development for us for, I don't know. it was a kind of a brain trust for me and the previous creator, who unfortunately passed away from cancer, and he entrusted me with the idea. And so I reached out to Chuck and said, "Hey, man, you know, I know he was trying to break in that entire time, and here's a really cool opportunity, and you know, the budget's pretty nice, so you know, you're getting your foot in the door, and you're being compensated pretty well for it. So and you know, like David, he has great ideas, and his stories are really rich, and I thought we could do something pretty cool here. And so that's how we started to work together.
I love it. I love it. And just a quick, like, you know, not a little tangent, that when I saw the webtoon, I was like, all right, let me definitely check this out. Obviously the artwork was amazing. What got me, because I didn't even know you could do this, was the music on the webtoon. So when the music dropped in, I was like, what? I was like, okay. And it was some nice feels. And I think by like the second issue, I think the first issue, like the music just plays throughout. The second issue, I noticed you guys like timed it for like certain moments when things like got epic and like the beat would drop in. And I was just, okay, this is amazing. This is, y'all can't fail. This is just,
so you did become a DJ.
Right. You did.
You did do it, man.
Through comics, you still became a DJ. Dropping that fire.
Oh, trust me. My and we also, for that project, we did a animated trailer to promote the actual comic series. Because again, you know, my one of my first biggest influences is hip hop music, and I always, even as a kid, I envisioned when I would hear a rap song, I envisioned the visuals for it, and you know, once I had access to, you know, cable and seeing all these videos, and now you're seeing these characters, these rappers, performers in the flesh. It was just one of those things where it was like, oh my God, this is, honestly, seeing this video is pretty close to what I envisioned. So now you feel like, man, you know, maybe there's a way that, you know, when I do, you know, have an opportunity to, you know, cross pollinate these things, and you started to see a lot of that in a lot of you know, characters, rappers and their personas, like Wu-Tang Clan. They're very comic. You know, their foundation has a lot of that in there. So many other, you know, hip hop performers. So, you know, those things, I was always kind of, you know, connecting those two things. And so when I started to have the resources, when I started my animation studio, that's the other aspect of it, that I have a small animation studio. I said, man, one of the projects I have to do is an animated trailer for, you know, one of my ideas, which was the 1000.
Yeah.
And I put this music behind it, and you know, because I just knew that it just the marriage was pretty seamless.
Yeah. No,
I'll send you guys a link to that too if you want to check it out.
Yes, please send me that. That's amazing. And yeah, for all my webtoon heads out there, yeah, if you look it up, it's called The 1000. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's dope. I just had to do that quick tangent because I'm like, y'all are everywhere, which is great. So literally, it's like you guys you became like your own little indie Avengers and got together and did this project. So now we're on Bitterroot. I mean, it based 1920s, the Harlem Renaissance. It deals with racism. Hardcore. A lot of spiritual aspects of it. For anybody who's listening right now, Sanford, if you just kind of like break down like the heart and soul of what Bitterroot is.
Bitterroot is a family of monster hunters set during the Harlem Renaissance. And they used alchemy and steampunk technology to deal with this infestation of monsters. And the monsters are derived from hate.
Yes. which is deep. Which is
you put the comic book out before all this went down with the monsters that we got out there right now. But it's so pertinent. I mean, it's so just on time, on point for what's happening in the world right now. You would think somebody just wrote this last week to try to capitalize on what happened, but you're on top of this game before this even happened, man.
Yeah, no, and that's amazing, and that's the thing too. It's like with that description, you read it, you're like, okay, that seems like that's a pretty dope comic, but like you guys are dealing with actual like Black history. You're not afraid to deal with racism in an extreme way, where racism becomes a form of the monsters that they transform into, which is insane. And I mean, for me as now as a Black man, but every time I read it, like I read it as if like, oh man, if I could just if this was around when I was a kid, and just thinking of like, I might have not have gotten all the little hidden messages that you guys were talking about, but like the biggest thing for me that I think is really great and bold that you guys did. I mean, you guys are dealing with the Tulsa race riots. Like that's an integral part of the story, and to put that out there, especially like something that, you know, for me, being Black, I didn't even know about that till later on, because, you know, if you honestly, if there's no one there to tell you, or if you don't know to research it yourself, you probably would never even know that existed.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so now you're dealing with these types of well, I shouldn't say stories, but like historical moments, but doing it in such a cool way. So it's like, if you're not going into it where it's like, okay, let me open this up and get a history lesson, a Black history lesson. It's like you guys embed it so much where it's like you're enjoying it for like the fun action, and the reader's not even realizing they're getting woke while they're reading.
It's like slipping a joke past somebody, and you're like, wait a minute, was Sinbad dogging us?
Right.
Like, we see the police officers become monsters because the evil of. And the guy, the one white cat that was rolling with the Klan, said, "These are my friends." And he looks at the faces, and he didn't turn because he hadn't killed nobody yet. Right. He hadn't hung anybody yet. So the anger that he needed to turn into this monster, he had hope. To not become that monster. Right. You know, it was wild.
Yeah.
Man, just to read it, man. I said, whoa, they hit on some points here. What is a monster? What is and trying to cure them. I even like, you know, the Sanford family trying to cure Big Brother from the South, the other older uncle. Nah, I'm here to kill him.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
right.
He's down in Mississippi.
Yeah.
He got a whole different mindset.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I love too, like just even like the family aspect within that, because you have Ma Etta, she's the old soul. You have Blink, Berg, Cullen, Ford. And it's like each one has such a distinct personality. So it's like Blink, she's the rebel. She wants to go out. She wants to fight these monsters called Jinnu, right?
Right.
In the comic books, yeah. So that's what these people who so happen to be mostly white people turn into these monsters. and so pretty much what the family does is they create this. They conjure up this cure that's supposed to help cure this thing that is like you said, it's conjured up from hatred and all that stuff. And so that interaction with her, I think, is really great, because we see you guys deal with you know, the kind of like the old ways of like, you know, the woman should stay in the kitchen, or in this instance, you know, she's the one who should stay, you know, making, you know, creating the cure.
She didn't want the woman's job. She didn't want
right, exactly. She wanted to go and fight out with the guys, with her cousins. And then with that Berg, which I think
Mike Tyson, big brother.
I feel like he's my favorite.
Mike Tyson.
I feel like he's my favorite, but I feel like it's stereotypical to say he's my favorite, because I feel like a lot of people love him, but I can't help it because like he's so cool. I have no idea what he's talking about most of the time. I need a dictionary.
He's got words. Bro.
I don't know if that's
got those words.
I don't know if that's David Walker, Chuck Brown. I don't know who's responsible for all those big words. But
somebody who memorized the dictionary like Malcolm X. Like somebody went through the dictionary and said, I'm going to use every word that you normally wouldn't use.
Right.
You don't understand the thing I'm saying, but you will.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just indubitably, that's the only thing I get. His little catchphrase. But
Thought about making a shirt that says that.
yes, you have to.
Yeah,
Yes, man.
But I love it. Like he's the bronze and the brains, which I love that he's both of those things. And to me, I actually feel like there's a little Luke Cage influence.
Yeah.
Just kind of like the way you drew Luke Cage and how he looks. I kind of like feel there's a little something there, which might be another reason why I love him. But then the other cousin, Cullen, he's kind of like the timid one, at least at first.
Cullen grew on me.
Yeah,
I knew Cullen had potential.
Yeah.
Cullen
And
he just needed some training.
And not to spoil anything for anybody who's
Cullen grew
read
on
it.
me, man.
But so he's the timid one that Berg's kind of mentoring the whole time. And then we have the other cousin Ford, who is kind of like on his own. He's the one who's like, forget curing him, let's just kill him. I'm past the cure point.
Ford will walk into a group, into a cross-burning clan meeting. It's like this. I need to clear y'all out. I need y'all to go
wrap this up.
Right.
Let me wrap this up.
Yeah.
Y'all through with the fire? Who got the matches? Who got the matches?
Right.
I need to clear y'all out.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then you have why am I tripping? Uncle
Enoch.
Yeah, Uncle Enoch. Yeah, and he's kind of like the ostracized one with like, no, because he's what was it like? He practices a little dark magic or something.
He got some people killed.
Yeah.
Family members killed.
Exactly, and so and that's the whole thing is like this family. I love how you guys gave everyone like a distinct personality, and you think that's obvious, but that's a lot harder to do than people think. And the fact that you have all these elements going around, and it's this family where they've had significant loss, fighting this war against these monsters, and like each one's kind of formed into their own beliefs and ideologies on how to deal with things moving forward. And I just feel like that brings such a great element in that, and just see that it's this black family that's doing it. I commend you guys for being able to create that in such a seamless way where nobody feels forced. Like even Berg, as many big words that he's throwing out, like it for me, it never, because I feel like some people you could tell when they're writing to be smart,
It fits.
but like it fits his thing. And then you guys reveal in that that annual issue, the Red Summer, I believe, and kind of like the backstory behind that as well, which is really awesome. But just kind of getting away from the deeper meanings of everything, just the family unit, and how like you can have different views. Everyone doesn't have to get along, but ultimately things in the comic take place where they have to start coming together and figuring things out. And like to see like a black family as a unit do that, I think is great.
I didn't see the villain. They didn't see the villain come from Dr. Sylvester, who's a brother. Now the super villain, because he has so much pain, because he's a victim of the Tulsa riots where they killed all his family. So
which is ridiculous.
He's a super militant, like saying, "Look, man, I'm your savior." It's like that super brother, like, "Oh man, now he's Ober brother." The Ober brother, like, "Man, you gonna get us all killed. Either you with me, or you not." And I'm like, "Oh man."
But that's what I'm saying. Like, this villain was birthed from a historical moment in Black history. Like, that's crazy. I mean, I might be the only one that's like blown away by that, but like that's insane. Like that's
and
genius.
The Sangre family are like, "Look, man, we ain't trying to kill you. We might not be able to kill you." What's that called? The Enzado? Enzando? That's a whole nother level. This ain't the Genu. This is some other thing. The brother's always got to mutate into some other thing.
Right.
Because his anger is righteous. Because his anger and his evilness is righteous. And even though it's righteous, dude, we can't do it this way.
Yeah.
Even though it's righteous. Right. Even though Ford is kind of that way. Ford is like, we gotta go kill everybody. But Dr. Best like this, no, we're gonna get everybody, even you.
Yeah.
Even if I gotta take care of you, I'll take care of you too. And I'm
right.
Like, wait a minute, me? Wait, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. Yeah, brother. You ain't with the program?
Yeah.
I'm your God.
It's eradicated.
Yeah.
I'm your God.
And this is why I wanted to get all the history out of the way, because now I could just geek out.
Hey, man, I thought you did a nice balance of doing both.
Right. I was trying the whole time. I was like, "So how'd you get started?" I can't wait to talk about this.
Royce was waiting. I know Royce was waiting, man.
But
oh gosh,
again, like, not to harp on it too much, but like the significance of a villain being birthed in that way from a moment in history that was so horrific. And you know, the concept behind these monsters, like you said, it like stems from a form of hatred. And what I love in the comic, because not just you show not just black people, but in the beginning, pretty much it's just like, oh yeah, black people, we don't become that. You know, we don't turn into those monsters. You know, and then you show other ethnicities, and even with them, they're like, yeah, we don't turn into that either. You know, so it's like those like subtle hints of like, oh, yo, that's deep. But with that, with Dr. Sylvester, when he ultimately goes through his thing, I don't want to give too much away, but when he goes through his thing, and it's like for that certain type of transformation to take place, and the opposite of being able to turn into a monster from hate, the opposite of that for him, it being pain and sorrow, like that again, like that, I'm like, that's amazing how you guys balance that, you know, because like
he birthed, like you say, Royce, Dr. Sylvester is birthed from you putting a knee on a man's neck.
Exactly.
See, there's two people that were protesting. You got the Sangaray protesting, and then you got some cats that's going the other way.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Sylvester.
Yeah.
Righteous anger, but kind of misdirected. But I get the pain. That's why when people ask us about, Sinbad, what do you think about the looters? You didn't ask me about the protesters. You went right to the looters. You didn't ask me about the Sangaray. You didn't ask me about the protesters. There's always looters in every revolution, white or black. There's always the ones who go to another level. Then there's the thing that's not a looter. It's beyond, it's right before looters. Like, I want to shoot one of these police. And that's what Dr. Sylvester is. Yeah. If you keep putting your foot on our neck, we're gonna be like this. We did hands up. We did I Can't Breathe. We were peaceful. You're beating people with metal. I look at this. This is like this. Okay. Now we will no longer respect you. And that's the one. The Dr. Sylvester is where we're about to go. We've been trying to give you the cure. We've been trying to go out there and fight you and almost die to give you the cure. We've been trying to give you the cure.
Right.
Yeah. Next thing is we're gonna sit in a tree and we're gonna snipe somebody. And I pray that they don't come. But that Dr. Sylvester, from so much pain, that's real.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
real. We're policing our own. We're trying to police our own, because we know once that, because that demon from the fourth dimension, he came through another dimension. Once they come, we ain't nothing we can do to help.
Spoilers.
We can't. You're gonna wish you were dealing with us. You're gonna wish you was dealing with the Sangaray family. You're gonna like, hey man, can you talk for us? No, we scared too.
We scared.
We scared too. That's a powerful enemy that you birthed.
Wow, man. I'm glad you're recording this, man. Please,
man. This is going online.
I appreciate it. I think the thing, everything you guys said, man. I mean, I don't know what else to add to that, because I mean, as we're working on this, we're literally like, turn on the news, okay, go back to work, because that just influenced everything I'm about to do. I was gonna go this way, now I see this thing.
Right.
That in. I mean, it's just in real time.
Right.
It's incredible. Man. Royce, when he brought me everything bundled together, the books, I said, let me, because sometimes you got to refresh. Something about being able to go from one issue to the next issue. You like watching Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Binge.
Now, can I ask you this? With your style of graphics, Royce, let me ask you, do you know sometimes I read, I feel agitated? When I read Bitterroot, I don't know if it's going to the frames, the way people look, I got agitated. I put it down.
Wow.
I said, am I getting agitated?
And I think part of that too is the fact that like your drawing style, like you're able to evoke such extreme emotions.
Dude, I was agitated
every time
when the police was beating. Dude, I was agitated.
Wow. Yeah.
And just like you see them turn into the monster, and like the way you exaggerate their mouths opening, all like you feel the intensity of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hatred is intense, man.
And even the ex-clan, the white guy, he reminds me of those who march with us. He said, I don't want to be this. I didn't even want to be with them. And then he turned around, I'm not them.
Yeah.
He said, and then he made Scott take me with you.
Yeah.
Take me with you, because I want to see what this is. I said, it was his journey.
Yeah.
It was his education.
Yeah.
Into the monsters out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He started to, I mean, it's a lot of, we're seeing it again in real time today, man. When you see, those who are privileged and clueless, and then you shine the light on that dark corner that they never paid attention to, and you see all the ugliness over there, and they're like, I never paid attention. Because the privilege blinded them. And,
Thank you.
He's just in his element. He grew up, and that's just how it was. And, and at the same time, there was that thing, the conscious, that was kind of in the back, and just in the nick of time, because that, that first kill is all it takes. Because now
you didn't kill nobody yet. He said, you got hope. He said, but if you kill somebody, I'm coming back for you.
Coming back for you.
I'm coming back for you.
Yeah.
It's amazing what this Better Group. It's not just a comic book. It's so
much more.
Well, I'm looking at all the historians and all the educators and all the people who are talking about in the book, all these quotes. They're not talking about a comic book. They're talking about a book like The New Negro. They're talking about James Baldwin. They're talking about, they're talking about all our historical figures, talking about our struggle. That's where this comic books, and I don't want to get too political because I want people to enjoy the comic book. But for me, where it's at right now, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
That's right.
And just speaking on that, Dad, for those listening, like beyond just the comic book, like y'all didn't just stop there. You're like, okay, we're going to create a dope comic book and then that's it. At the end of every issue, you have bonus content. One of them being Bitter Truths. And Dad, that's what you were talking about, like these articles from these scholars and educators, just going in even deeper. It's like, yo, if y'all didn't get it, this is what's going on. And it's just like, it just really, really makes you think even harder. So you read that, when you read these articles, it almost makes you want to just turn back and read what you just read again in the comic. Be like, yo, wait.
And make you go grab the
and
book,
then you're like oh, snap.
Yeah. The one from 20 Morrison, Royce. Is that one. I actually printed it out and gonna put it up. It was just so deep about they thought we're in the jungle. I said that. I'll just say white people believe that whatever that matters under every dark skin was a jungle. It wasn't the jungle blacks that brought to this place from another place. It was the jungle white folks planted in them, and it grew and it spread. And I said, that's the book. And then it touched them. I told them when hip hop came, y'all didn't care about us, but then it touched your kids.
That's right.
And they wanted to be hip hop. And then they went beyond the music. They started talking back and walking back. And you're like this, Jesus, Tommy. My name ain't Tommy. My name T1. T1. What? You from Iowa.
That's right.
You from Iowa.
That's right.
It touched them.
And so I
scared them.
Yeah. No, and I just to go back on that, I just respect you guys, commend you guys so much for going like even further, because you guys could have just stopped where you did and already had a great product. But it's like the intent, is there as far as like we're gonna give y'all the knowledge, which is amazing, and it's really an educational book hidden within cool action.
I call it
required reading, and then
comic with a purpose.
Right.
Comic book with a purpose.
You know what's really cool about what you just said there, to you guys' point. I've done, I couldn't tell you how many, seminars, guest speaking events, educational events because of this book.
That's amazing.
We actually kind of on that note of HBCUs, before COVID, we had already had planned out. We were doing a Black college tour. Howard, we're doing, Benedict, and we're just doing this tour, and we're having this talk. Hopefully that'll still, take place, once everything, is truly over.
Truly.
This thing now opening up is like, okay, whatever. Until the White House opens up like normal, I ain't going nowhere.
Thank you, man.
Exactly. It's like, if you ain't opening up, why are we opening up?
Right.
I digress. But So we're going to do that. And I get emails weekly from professors and educators throughout the country that are using our book for curriculum. So it's, like you said, it's required reading in that sense. So it's really gratifying hearing that stuff.
Cool,
That's
man.
amazing.
It's worthwhile.
Yeah. And speaking of required reading, one thing I love that you guys added, because I was hoping there'd be something like that eventually, but I believe it was in issue 7. You guys introduced Berg's bookshelf and recommended a book, and I was like, yes, please, thank you. What is he reading?
Yeah, I told you at Sanford, Royce is in this. Royce,
yes.
I see.
Royce is, yeah, you got to, I'm telling you, when Royce goes crazy on something, it's a hit.
Oh yeah.
He has a good eye. Royce has a good eye, man.
And of course, the book is The New Negro. So I'm just like, y'all have just no remorse. You're throwing it all out there.
And you know what was funny now's the time, because
right, exactly.
Not now when. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in our lifetime. Our parents hadn't even seen this kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, no.
So if we have to speak out, man, on this level. We just did I posted, I think it was yesterday. There's another book out there that's really cool called Excellence.
Yes, I read that one too.
Yeah. Me and one of the creators for that, we just did this illustration of our 2 main characters, holding up.
Oh, I saw it.
And man, you're talking about the reception for that thing.
Really?
They're like, what is this? I have no idea. What can I buy a shirt? Is there a book? Is there whatever? People are really super excited about it. Probably wouldn't have done that if we hadn't had this boldness. I mean, we're doing this stuff anyway, but that thing was like, what's the 2 brothers from the Olympics, the 1960?
Yeah, Tommy, man.
It's like I felt like we were doing something like that, in our industry.
Right. It really was. It really was. And excellence, that's another conversation. Well, that's another. That's another interview.
That's another interview, man.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, with all this, just to kind of like bring back into the professionalism part of it, what sparked this idea? How did you guys come together to create this?
Kind of what I said earlier. I was me and David at Marvel, and Chuck was doing some independent stuff, and Chuck threw out the idea of, hey, I want to do something based on the Harlem Renaissance. And you really think about that time period, it's incredible in itself. Just that, to think about what was prior. You guys just mentioned it, 1921, Tulsa Massacre, the Great Migration, all the suffering and pain that came along the way, and the end result was that, this cultural zeitgeist that changed this entire country in that aspect of it, all in that one concentrated space. And it still has influences and serious footprints today. Jazz music in itself is the whole reason because of that time period. So we were like, man, why, in a weird kind of way, we were like shocked that there wasn't more stuff out there based in that time period, more stories. I mean, you got documentaries and stuff like that, but we thought that time is so like, there's something supernatural, magical about that time period, right? I mean, just to see so many great creative minds and people come out of that time period, you're just kind of taken back that you just feel like there should be way more. But to that degree, we're kind of happy that there wasn't a whole lot of stuff out there. Like, why don't we, unique and be the first? So we jumped all over that idea. And I was still at Marvel, me and David, but that thought of that time period and creating something, for that time period was just in the back of my head. So I just started sketching ideas, and then started thinking about elements that really fit that time period, steampunk stuff, because it just felt magical anyway. One day I was watching Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Say what you will about, your girl JK and whatever she stands for, or whatever.
Right.
Her visuals and just kind of cross-pollinating, historical content along with this was like, okay, that's awesome. We need to do that for us. What is out there from a historical standpoint that still can have this fantastical element kind of cross and it feels seamless and not forced. And again, Harlem Renaissance was the idea or the time period that we thought was perfect. And I never draw anything that, how should I say this? I just don't sketch because I'm going to sketch, this, whatever. That thing had me so inundated. I was just sketching all these different, weapons and characters and world. And so I showed it to Chuck one day, and he was like, "You actually drew something that I brought." He threw the idea out there, and I used to go, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and I'll go and I don't know, draw Hulk or something like that.
Right.
For some reason, that thing just kind of played on, and then I showed him. He thought it was really cool, and showed David, and he was like, "Dude, we need to do something with this." And we knew that our contract with Marvel was ending, and so we just started to develop it from that standpoint. And those visuals were great. We took it to our publisher. We had a big meeting actually at Comic-Con. Had a big dinner meeting. Before we could get the words out, the publisher was like, "Okay, what do you guys want to do with us?" And we were like, "We want to do something based on the Harlem." As soon as we said Harlem, they were like, "Yes."
Wow.
And truth be told, something that's a little, it's sobering. The last time that there was an all-black creative team, and that's the other aspect that we had that a lot of people didn't have. All-black creative team at that company was 25 years ago.
Wow.
It had been an all-black, and there may have been a few books here and there that came out under that publisher, but not anything that I'm aware of. And so we're talking, seriously 25 years ago, and the book that was there at the time, it's called Tribe. You can look it up. Only 3 issues. It was only 3 issues. And they went off to another publisher, and then they kind of discontinued. So really, we're kind of the first all-black creative team doing an ongoing series, past issue 3 at least.
Right. Yeah.
So man, we realize that we're kind of the vanguard of this whole thing right now. Excellence is now over at Image. But we felt like, we kind of opened that door.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really, really amazing. Really, really amazing. And
the time is right.
Yeah.
The time, like Roy said, even this comic book, the time is right now. The time is right.
Yeah. And it was already deep when it came, because it came out 2018, right? First issue drop. And it was already deep then, but now it's even more significant, just because of everything that's happening. So it's literally like, I feel like it's perfect timing for all of it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, like you said, even if this time hadn't happened, we were getting a lot of accolades. You mentioned the Eisner thing, which is kind of like the Oscars for graphic novels and the comic industry, some Oscars. And, we've gotten, this is our second year getting nominated. We'll see what happens this year.
Okay.
So yeah, we realize the kind of like Uncle Ben told Peter, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Like, man, that is probably one of the truest statements. So we realized a lot of people. Yeah.
If this time hadn't happened, we wouldn't be sitting here on Zoom talking about this. We'd be
True.
living a life. You'd be going 100 miles an hour. Sanford Royce be going 100 miles an hour. I'd be going 100 miles an hour. We'd be saying, hey, man, let's sit down and talk about it. And I'm kind of, other than us not making money, I kind of cherish this time. I've been home. I've never been off for 3 months in my life. Never.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't even know what this is like. I don't even know what this is like. I got a chance to see my grandson, who's going to be who's 4 months old and growing up. And I said, I was there for this. You know, I got a chance to put that time in and get a chance to talk to you. And Royce is running the house with ideas all the time. Hey, how about this? How about this? And I'm sitting down. I finally got a chance to sit down and mess around with technology. And I'm excited for now where it goes. Yeah. Like I said, it can't leave us where it found us. The door can't go back open to the world, and we just go right back to how it was. This dialogue still has to happen. What we just did right now, it still has to happen. We still have to talk about it because the world is not going to change in my lifetime. Racism will not walk away. That's why this book is so important, these comic books. First of all, I can't believe we're sitting there discussing, did you ever think that a comic book would be this deep? We're discussing a comic book like it's a book of literature. Of Black literature.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about it like, oh man, I love how looking. I love how they fight. I love his superpower. Can he beat the Hulk? Do you think he beat Batman? Would Batman beat him? It's not even that.
Yeah. I mean,
because I'm excited for. I don't know who wins in your battle.
Right.
Good and evil. Now, you know what? It used to be, okay, I know good gonna find a way, but I'm like, good might not. Because the other one that's evil was also good. He was good, but now he's evil.
Yeah. I mean, the lines, you know, when it comes to the human condition, the lines get blurred. You know, it gets blurred. You know, hate doesn't see color.
Nope.
You know, although it does, it doesn't. It can play the same way, and we're slowly weaving some of that stuff in, without spoiling anything. But we're considering all that stuff because I think we had at first we had a lot of people, not a lot, we had a handful. They were loud that said, "Oh man, this is just their propaganda to."
Anytime we do anything about this, propaganda. Anytime we talk about getting killed, propaganda. Anytime we get arrested, propaganda. Anytime we can't go to school, propaganda. Anytime we talk about being black, propaganda.
Right. But that was snuffed out pretty quick. I mean, because I've had just as many Caucasian people reach out to me and say how much to them seeing this as people of color. So
that's amazing, and obviously want to respect your time. I know I said this was only going to be an hour. kind of went a little over that.
During this COVID time, we just get lost. It's a 7-hour interview.
Yeah.
So I was going to miss that. Hey, I got to go.
Right.
I got to go. Now it's like, what you doing? Nothing. Another Zoom. I got another Zoom set up.
I know. I looked at the time and I was like, oh, snap. Okay. But yeah, if you're cool with it, we have, just a couple more questions.
Sure.
Well, first, Dad, anything else you wanted to dive into as far as like the hidden messages, symbolism, and things like that?
Because I know you want to talk about more of the movies. I want to ask you, when I was reading one of the essays, everybody was talking about Afrofuturism 2.0 going to ethno-Gothic. Explain that for me, what you're saying.
Well, I am not the scholar on that actual genre, but it's basically more black horror for the most part.
Okay.
I'm not as invested in that genre.
They got deep on me, dude. It got man. I'm like this. Did I miss the movement?
Ethno-Gothic. That sounds like
I missed the movement.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why you read those articles. You're like, wait, let me go back. Hold on.
Google Siri.
Well, I mean, to some degree, if you want to put kind of like a face to it, I think Jordan Peele's movement is
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay.
So he's taking. I mean, truth be told, kind of I guess some inside baseball. You know, we got the film deal, and he was one of the first cast that reached out to us. You know, so we've had conversations with him, or at least with his people, and so yeah, we knew from that point on, from that moment, that his genre or his focus was ethno-gothic. He wanted to kind of stay clean. He wanted to be, you know, which is technically you see him doing oh gosh, what's the serial show? Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone, yes.
He wants to be the you know, if you want to call it, the Black Alfred Hitchcock, if you will.
I'm looking at black horror racist. It's horrific, horror racist. It's like, we're gonna take us already being dealing with racism. We're gonna make it a horror movie. We're gonna double up on you.
We're gonna double
You're
down.
not just gonna be black. We're gonna put some supernatural black on you. I'm like, it's bad enough that I'm black. Now you done put the supernatural. I can't get out these chains. I can't get out these chains. I'm just trying to get out the basement. I'm trying to get out the basement.
Oh man, yeah, and that you know, and so yeah, in a nutshell, I think that's the direction, you know, because the Afrofuturism is the, you know, the sci-fi and things of that nature, but the Gothic is more from the horror aspect. And I tell people, you know, because there are people, let's just be honest, us, I'm speaking about us, you know, black folks, you know, they don't mess with that demonic stuff.
Because it's real.
So we that's another part of what makes this so important for us, is finding that fine balance.
Yeah.
To not, you know, people start to stiff arm when they hear, you know, devil and no, but you know, because again, we're very religious in that sense, and we're very sacred about that kind of thing. We're like, no, this is about hate. And
we know the roots though. We deal with the roots. We all got somebody from New Orleans.
Right.
Don't put that juju. Put that juju on you.
Right.
We know there's a devil, so we can go there. But when you go there, and some witches coming in, Here come the warlocks. And the covens coming.
Yeah, we don't want no possessions, no.
Don't give me that.
But you know, that's the thing about it that makes it so identifiable, is like hatred is a possession. You know,
yes,
it's like
it is.
Get to the point where you're willing to, you know, you hate to keep going back to that point, but we saw it in living, you know, in real time. A man literally was so full of hate, he didn't care who saw it. He did it in broad daylight.
Knew he's being filmed.
And he
knew he's being filmed.
Yeah, that's not human. That's not, you know, that's something else.
It's,
you know, that is demonic.
Somebody said that's pure evil. That was like I heard an older black woman say that was pure evil.
Right.
See, this hatred, that was pure evil.
Get ready.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
So what you got, Royce?
Sorry, what were you gonna say, Sanford?
No, I was saying when I said get ready for what we're all experiencing, but also get ready for what we're doing with Bitter Root. When he just said,
yes.
So, yeah. No, I was like, I thought you were talking about a war. I'm like, okay, all right.
No. I don't want to freak out people like in that sense, you know. But get ready for what Bitter Root is, where it's going.
Yeah. I love it. And I know I just wanted to bring it up. Obviously, I feel like you can't really say much, but if you want to, you know, spill everything about the deal, turn this, would it be like a movie or a TV series, or is that stuff still being worked out?
Oh no, that's no secret. It's a film. And
Yeah.
you guys knew that it's Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler, yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna produce.
I can't wait.
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to share? Is there a script you want to show us? Any concept art you want to reveal right here on our show? Now's the time.
Nothing in there.
Promise I won't show anyone.
So it's all black light. It's all right there.
Right. You got to know what to look for.
Light, you can see the script.
Exactly.
You know what to look for.
Read between the lines.
Right. And I wanted to bring it up mainly too because back when we first met each other at the DC Black Film Fest, it was crazy because before it even came out, you were already talking about that. I think there was some interest already, and which really piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, this comic's not even out, and y'all already onto like that phase, which is really cool.
There it is.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
That's the next generation.
That's what happens, man. I don't know if you want to edit
Dude, you know what?
That's the beauty of Zoom.
That's the beauty of
Zoom. You ever seen CNN today? Come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
I love it. I love it.
Yep. You see that one interview where that guy, I guess he's doing an interview and his wife is trying to keep the baby out.
Yeah.
She's opening the door every time she'll take it out and she comes back. Yeah.
There's no shame. It's just the time we're living in.
He's like this. COVID ain't that bad. Maybe I'll just go to work.
Right. This whole pandemic, it's blurred the lines between what's professional, what's okay, what's not okay. It's just like everything's whatever.
Which has been kind of cool.
Yeah.
It showed us though. It showed us the level that we had to go to. We didn't have to go to. There is room, some gray area. There is room, now you can take more than 4 ounces. They'll let you take 6 ounces because you germ stuff on the plane. And you realize, cats are sitting home giving the news and realize, then why are you so worried about if somebody's got a cell phone out there? Take the news from somebody with a cell phone. Right. Realizing we will, if it's good stuff, Americans will look at it.
That's right.
We'll look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of what you said there, to your point. It's like even our appearances, we were so consumed about how we look and perceive ourselves. We all got the COVID going on right now, COVID facial hair.
Right.
But we're having these great conversations, and I think people are, absolutely more, engaged, and that's all they care about. You realize what's really important in those.
I'm gonna hate when it goes back. I am gonna hate.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna go back quick, and everybody's gonna forget. Everybody's gonna shave up. Everybody's gonna be righteous. I said, man, we saw you, man, 3 weeks ago, bro.
Right.
That's right.
We saw you. We saw you. I'm gonna miss that catch. So just say, you know what? This is what I am. I don't know how to work this. I can't get my microphone to work. Right. And there's no more embarrassment. There's no more like screaming like, hey guys, I'm doing the best. How many Zoom meetings have we seen people like this? I'm muted, John.
Right.
People gotta call him. John,
right. I love it. I love it.
Oh man, I will say this though, Royce. I understand it's all relative. I know he's dad, but you gotta think that this right here is like a treasure. The fact that you have a father like that.
Oh, absolutely.
You're around, for 3 months straight.
Right.
I don't know if I would be laughing at my dad. I would be like, look, Dad, look.
Right.
Well, see, he goes step out to the guest house. When he tired, Dad, he goes to the guest house.
He goes to the
My wife can't get away. She'll go upstairs to go to bed. Everybody trying to hide from me. I'm in the room by myself, talking to myself. Me and the dog, man.
You roll over, like, honey.
He's at 100 all the time. It's not like he performs and he comes home and he's like reserved. It's just it never stops.
And that's what makes it so awesome.
Right.
This is I know for a fact, this is based on this conversation here, man. Oh yeah, this is your dad 24/7, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why, like, even when I said, okay, we're gonna shoot for an hour, I knew that wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't gonna happen. Oh, man.
Dissertations. He said, "All right, now, so what we need to understand is the plight of the black man."
Right.
Yeah. Fold my arms and be like,
Right. Here we go.
Oh man,
we're in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I do want to hit these last couple questions, just mainly just for any of our artists and aspiring comic book creators who want to get started in the industry and things like that. See if you can answer some of these questions to hopefully help them or point them in the right direction. First, I mean, do you have any advice for specifically any illustrator or artists that are coming up? Because in your story, you talked about how your life kind of took twists and turns and things like that, and you kind of have anything for any artist that's kind of going through the same thing, kind of a message to kind of keep them motivated.
It's kind of the old, cliche. You got to keep your eyes, on the road. And a friend of mine told me this, and I think is really true. He said, "Hey, man, don't race the racers, race the track. Like, keep your eyes on that. You're worrying about who's on the right or left of you, behind you, whatever, or in front of you. You just race the track." And that's honestly, the advice I give anyone that's trying to make it is you stay focused on what you're doing and don't be too distracted around you.
Nice. Because I see a lot of artists, like they'll post or they'll tweet like, what do I have to do to work for Marvel, work for DC? Like if working for Marvel or DC there is their end goal, is there anything specific that they should be doing?
Working for themselves,
Yeah.
And I know that's for me, that's easy to say because I've been there. Kind of like, maybe, Sinbad can identify with this is like, creating your own content is the key because about ownership. But when you're talking to someone who's, never been anywhere, and they see these other things that are a lot more tangible, it's kind of hard, for them to have that kind of aspiration. So I always tell people, still though, even if Marvel or DC is your end goal, you need to, if it's where you want to go, you still need to create your own stories because at this point in time, it's the industry is totally switched. It used to be about trying to get Marvel's attention, or trying to reach them and show your work so that you can get an opportunity to work for them. Now it's the other way around. They comb the internet. They're on Instagram every day. They're looking at artists and they're looking at all this unique, unique visuals, and they're reaching out to them. The ones that they feel like, oh wow, this person is incredible. So they'll do the actual, research and the outreach. So, young artists, just create your stories that are really unique to you. And that's going to be where you see your best work too. You're not trying to be anyone else. You're trying to do what you can, what you connect with. And if you connect with it, other people will definitely connect with it.
You want to be your joint. You want to be your own self.
Right.
Chase you. Let them chase you, man.
That's right.
I love it. And for me, coming from the other side where being the writer who can't draw at all, some of the issues and some of the things that I was trying to navigate when I first started doing my comics, sometimes I feel like the writer and artist relationship can get a little, conflicting. So I wonder if you had any advice for kind of like the best practices, for writers and how to approach an artist or how to like communicate and how that collaboration, how to best make that collaboration the best it can be.
Well, I know working with, just truth be told, my partners, we don't always see eye to eye, but that's okay. I mean, you have to have this give and take.
Yeah.
I am very fortunate though, that for the most part, most of the things that they want to do, I'm totally on board with. But it does take a little bit of time to get to a place where you understand and you can have that discernment between someone's independent voice versus someone who's just stubborn and doesn't want to, you'll be able to understand, okay, this is just where they're at right now. This is what they, so, man, there's no magic bullet to that. It's just, you just have to go through, it's trial and error. You have to be able to connect or go through your various channels, trying to find that right connection to collaborate with.
Man, I wish I could see Royce he could draw. Royce was young. Royce was drawn. I just think he quit. Royce is a learned people.
I didn't have the focus or the patience.
It might not be in here, but he could at least, could say, if you could just sketch. I have no skills. I've always said there's things, like singing and drawing. I said, dude, if I could put down on paper what I see, dude, just even now with the animation software that's available today, it wouldn't have to be the greatest. At least I could say, here's what I see and make it happen. It must be wonderful to be able to draw something that you see in your head and make it come to life. And like I said, Royce's frustration has been finding somebody, sometimes not just have the vision, but just do the work. Finding somebody who's just like, man, here's the deadline. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, let's just be honest, man. So much of these guys and girls, the bottom line is what motivates them. You can have the greatest idea in the world, but if there's not anything there, or they don't see where it could help them in the immediate time. That's where it gets to be kind of, that's the rub, right? So what you need is almost, again, kind of, it's not a magic bullet, but because they're out there, you need a collaborator that doesn't have any strings attached. They just want to create, and they believe in the projects or what have you. They believe in the collaborative effort, and that's where you don't have that strain, because that's going to be there for the most part. I mean, that's there even where we're at. We're looking at I know just being honest, the artist tends to do, we're doing visuals. It takes longer to do. And we had to have a talk about it. We had to talk about it. I'm like, hey, you write on your on your script, monsters come and wreck downtown Harlem. Now you go knock yourself out, man. I'm on this for 2 weeks now.
Right.
So it's kind of like an editor. I told Royce, you edit for somebody. Hey, can I get this back tomorrow? Dude, that's the hard work.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the hard. You want me to do? Well, man, how long you think it'll take? What? How much? I told Royce. Now you change that up. How much you got?
That's right.
Yeah.
You really want to put it? Look, you want me to rush this? Okay, I'm not hearing the right thing. How bad you want this?
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And that, it's like you again, that's why you have to have someone in order to do at least those, to be in that kind of space that you feel like I can just really create and just do all this exploratory stuff. You just need someone with no strings attached in that sense.
Right.
They're out there. It kind of goes back to what we said earlier. You have to be patient, be willing to, cast that net far and wide, if you will. And, for every 10 horrible experiences, you're going to find that one in there.
Right. Absolutely. Awesome. What do you have? Would you say do you have like a pet peeve? Like, what's the one thing that like bothers you the most that like a writer will do or say?
Oh, I just gave it. You know, we gave.
Oh,
Hey,
just that.
Yeah.
Go knock yourself out, man. I'll figure it out later. I'll
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Draw something cool.
There's a scene in issue 10 that I'll blame David and Chuck for this one. Where there's something happening, and I'm like, I almost need to not only make up the reference, I still need to find reference to make it to make it feel like you've seen something familiar or something similar before, so that you don't go, what am I looking at? You know,
right,
so
right.
that kind of thing. So to some degree, and so what I decided to do when they do that kind of thing like that, I'm like, hey, I want you to draw it, not draw it like actually draw it, but do a sketch to where I don't care, stick figure or whatever. And they had to get over that whole insecurity of like, I can't draw, but I had to draw it for them, which that could be something that you do. Just say, hey, man, if you got this really grandiose kind of idea and your collaborator is not really getting it, or they're just kind of slow, if you have the more material you have up front, the more they feel like I don't have to, it's like, here is this, 10,000 piece puzzle, knock yourself out, man.
Right, right.
At least have the framework.
Right.
That way they can kind of go, oh, okay, I see where I'm going with this.
Right.
So the more you bring to the table, the more that they feel like they don't have to try to get inside your brain.
Right.
Figure it out.
Got it. Yeah. So pretty much it's like for writers to have a little bit more accountability, and whenever you can help out the artist, it's best to do that.
The reference that my writers, David and Chuck, I'll say, hey man, give me reference for every single thing from this story.
Got it.
And honestly, do it per page. Like page 1, here's the reference. Page 2, here's the reference. That kind of thing. That way, when I'm looking at it, because I do reference anyway. Yeah. And that takes time. It takes time to put in the reference. So if they've already got stuff for me, then I can, quicker it gets me to draw.
Cool.
Got it.
It's like storyboarding a movie where people use a reference.
That's true. Yeah.
It's just figures like that. Something like, okay, I got you.
Yep, it's exactly that.
That's awesome. Well, do you have any other final questions, Dad, you wanted to ask?
No, I just thank you. I just thank you for being you. Thank you for taking the time to sit and talk to us. I mean, Royce is the driving force around my life right now, and he just turns me on to all these different good people. Even people I knew about, but he goes deeper in, man. And he was with me. I think when I went to get the first Bitterroot comic, were you with me, Royce?
No, I was.
Man, we got to go.
No, I don't think I was with you. Sent me pictures, and I was like, "Where are you?"
I had to go. Remember I called you, man. I had to go. You said send me a picture. I had to go to 3 stores. They were sold out. I'm like, they buying this black man's comic book. I'm in the valley, dude. I'm in the valley.
Okay.
I'm in the valley. And the white dude. Oh yeah, Bitterroot. Yeah, man, Bitterroot. We're out of Bitterroot. You know the guys did Bitterroot. Oh, we like Bitterroot. Hey, come to the store and talk to the people.
Literally, it's like everyone's like, "Oh, you know about Bitterroot?" Dude, like it's like it's a drug. Like what you know?
Right. Hopefully, there's not an ending of a sad note, but I think with all the what's happening to a lot of the small businesses, they fall right under that category, man. A lot of these stores are closing down, man. The comic shops all over the country,
really?
not able to survive.
Yeah.
We're dealing with it right now, man. And it's kind of a small miracle. We looked at our numbers, our sales numbers coming back, and we thought, man, no one's gonna be buying these books right now because they're trying to just stay afloat with what they already have. And shout out to Golden Apple, man. They got an exclusive. As a matter of fact, they got the Purple Rain cover, I just showed you.
Yeah.
There's a limited edition variant that's exclusive to them. You know, that the numbers jumped up from that standpoint. We were like, oh man, that's awesome. And they did it with issue 8 that just came out, and they're doing it with issue 9, which is we're doing which movie are we? We're doing New Jack City. New Jack City.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Dude, we got to, you know what we got to do, man, with this new technology? You could come in with LED screens. I got more LED screens, and we can start. We can go to a comic book store and have you visit virtual, man.
Yeah. Well, they're doing San Diego Comic-Con. That's what that's going to be this year. It's going to be a virtual con. So you know, everything that you're talking about, you know, people are just trying to find these ways to you know, to give people something that's familiar, you know, but from a virtual standpoint.
Yeah. But usually they fly you guys in, and I know they pay you and stuff. But think about it now. Y'all can still get paid, but they don't have to pay for the airfare.
Right.
So you actually can go to the artists that's coming like yourselves.
Right.
And do we get stuff just like we did here?
Yeah.
Man, they got the LED screens. It's easy to fold up. I'm thinking about taking on Royce, and I were talking about just doing shows on the road.
Yeah.
Like, you know, zooming it that kind of way, because I like what Oprah said. I pitched it to Netflix, like two monitors on the side, so you always got your audience all around you. And but we could go on the road, so not just doing stand-up. Hey, let's go to the comic book store. Let's go ahead. Let's bring LED. Let's bring in so they can still feel. Comic book people need to feel close to people because they already ostracize people.
Right.
You know, and they need that language that's
right.
Talks to them.
Right.
And they talk different than me. When I go to a place where some pure comic heads, they'll ask you questions that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
Right.
They go to another level. I have to go like, what?
Yeah. It's like, so do you think the ultimate nullifier can really defeat
Like,
hey, bro.
They push you, don't they? They push you in your thinking.
Oh,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I actually want to bring back to what you said with issue 8, because I thought that was really cool what you guys did. I believe, it's issue 8, right, where you did all the variant covers. Like you said, one was Purple Rain, one was Do the Right Thing. What were the other ones?
Well, they're all there is one variant per issue. Issue 6 was Do the Right Thing.
Okay, for each.
Yeah, issue 7, Boys in the Hood.
That's right.
The one that just came out, that one's Purple Rain. 9 is New Jack City, and number 10 is Juice.
That's crazy. And can people actually purchase those in store or online, or are those just like special limited edition?
Well, the limited editions you can only get through the actual stores, like Golden Apple. Or you can get it from me.
Got it. Awesome.
You got one where the guy Berg looks like a real dude. He's got the.
Well, it's funny. funny you mentioned that because
with the T and he's looking up at the monster. Yeah.
What you saying, Royce?
No, I was gonna say it's funny you mentioned like the special editions because last year I was fortunate to randomly run into you at your booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't even know you were gonna be there, and I saw you had this. Here, this cover, and it was the last one left.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know if it was like a volume. I didn't know what it was, but I was like, there's only one left. Give me it. and what was amazing was, I mean, let me bring it up. It's a little out of focus, but yeah, like the artwork here, that's Cullen and bunch of genuine monsters around him. And then you drew Berg like right on the spot. Right here, which was amazing. You did this for everybody who purchased this, right? You drew Berg right here.
Yeah. I'll do whatever character Berg, since he like you said, he's one of the more popular characters, and it just kind of looks, his style looks good on that cover. So I decided to do it. I also did, if you flip the book around, on the back side of it, I did an entire scene. it's so that area, there's enough space there to just
You mean
draw
on this back area?
Yeah. Yeah, so I just drew like all the characters and maybe like a little Jinu and all that that kind of stuff. I did like 12 of those, and posted that stuff online. They sold out pretty quick.
Nice.
So stuff like that.
It's not on mine. I don't know what happened.
Right, so wait a minute. Right, so hold up, man.
It's quiet. You're very observant. You're very observant.
It's fine. That's fine. I kind of wish you wouldn't even have told me you did that, but that's okay.
What did I say that? What I meant to say was.
It's all right. Now you know what has to be done next time I see you in person. So don't get mad when I'm like, hey, I bought it.
Still in my back cover, man. Still in my back cover.
Well, I mean, full disclosure, that was a whole nother different price range for those things.
Oh, got it.
It wasn't like the same price. No.
So Royce, that means you got a special edition, Royce, because it don't have nothing.
It doesn't have it. Yeah, that's what makes it so special.
You got the limited. You got the limited edition with nothing on it.
Right. Oh my goodness, but. Sanford, thank you so much. I don't want to take any more of your time before this becomes a 3-hour conversation.
I know, man.
But thank you so much. Like you said,
it's going to be a two-parter, Royce.
It might have to be, honestly.
It's two, man, because it's just so good, man.
It's a lot. But yeah, you guys are on issue 8 now for Bitterroot. That's now in stores, right? That came out this week.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, issue 8's out, so you guys can get that. Is it available digitally yet, or is it just strictly in stores?
I'm pretty sure we do same day. If not, it'll be the week following.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So in stores, pick up a physical copy or get it digitally.
You can go to my site or Image or wherever, and you'll see the lineup of each cover.
Awesome. Love it. And where can people keep up with you? Social media, website, all that stuff if people want to learn more about you.
IG, Twitter at Sanford Greene, and Facebook, same thing, Sanford Greene. Try to keep it simple, man.
I know, make it easy.
Right.
I hate when somebody got 9 different names on social media. I'm like, bro.
Right. Awesome.
With incorrect spelling and stuff.
With numbers for letters.
Yeah. Money Green. That's MONEEZ. Oh my God. Come on.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much. And again, we're Blerd Empire. You can follow us at Blerd Empire on everything, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Again, special thank you, Sanford, co-creator, illustrator of Bitterroot. If y'all don't know, now you know, get on it. Because I'll just end with this. I feel like it's such an honor that not only was I introduced to this comic at the very beginning, because I feel like that's a rare thing when you can get on a series something like as special as this from the ground up, and on top of that to even hear you speak on it before it even came out and to kind of like be a part of that experience is just something special. And to know that like once my son gets old enough to read comics, I have something that one that's going to teach him about our history, but also something that he can read, and that's awesome. So there's a little bit more diversity. So I don't just have to throw him a Spider-Man comic book, or we got Static Shock, but this we got this dives a little bit deeper than that. Even though Static Shock was deep, this is a whole other level.
Dad, is the Jinu gonna kill me, Dad? Gonna kill me, Dad?
So thank you to you also, David Walker, Chuck Brown, for creating Bitterroot, because this is necessary. So everybody get on this. If you sleeping, wake up. Bitterroot.
Show them the back again, Royce. Show them the
back.
No,
I don't want to. No, I don't want to show the back. I want to show the back. All right, thank you guys.
Full disclosure, man. They're all like that until someone asks me to do something on them. So.
Right. Okay. That makes me feel better. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch y'all in the next episode.
Yes.
Awesome.